Hello, I'm Tom Downs. I'm here with Stephen Wallace, an associate attorney at our office. Stephen's been with us for 3 years now.
Yeah, already.
Unbelievable, and has done very well. I told Stephen he'd know most of what he needed to know after 2 years, and I'm superfluous, not exactly, but
Still trying to figure it out.
mostly. And we're going to talk today about successors and how to choose your successors.
That's right. So one of the most important decisions in anybody's plan is who is going to come after you or after you and your spouse in order to follow your wishes, keep harmony in the family, pass things on to the next generation. And one of the values that we can bring as counselors into any family situation is obviously the legal parameters and the experience, but having a third person's view on any situation can be very helpful. I had a situation way back in high school where I was planning what I thought was a phenomenal costume to go around in Halloween. And I'm not going to describe the costume to protect the innocent, but I have an older sister, and she took me aside and calmly explained to me that my plan was a terrible plan. And I was not only going to be embarrassed myself, but the entire family. So that was great advice. I needed someone outside the situation to look at the thing and say, wow, I see what you were trying to do. What a terrible plan. Let's make it better. And she did. And because of what we do, the estate planning is what we do all day, every day. We help people make plans. We help people administer those plans. So we see situations, good, bad, and in between. So we have the experience to look at your family situation, our clients' family situations, and say, hey, that sounds great, or let's think about this. Or even sometimes you really got to rethink that because of a situation where this person is really not well suited for the job, that being a financial decision maker or a medical decision maker, they're just not going to be up for it. And that's one of the most important parts, one of the parts I enjoy the most about the estate planning work.
I find that when we're talking to people, oftentimes, especially with a couple, they may have a unified view, they may not have a unified view. And so trying to bounce that around can be very helpful. And the other thing that I find is that sometimes if there's a child who doesn't have financial responsibility or has a drug or alcohol problem, who's going to be in charge of that person's money? And it can be it's going to be the children, but we do talk about that and weigh out what the pros and cons of that are going to be.
And you can't make a perfect plan, right? We don't have perfect information. We don't know what's going to happen in the future. But there is so much value in making a plan, in making a good plan, the clarity that can provide. If you go forward and you leave your family in a situation where there's no plan, now you haven't chosen, you haven't set up what the order is going to be, and it can be, a free-for-all and people in a tug of war that nobody intended, but would have been easy to prevent. So every time we're able to help people avoid those problems by setting up what the chain of command is going to be, that's a good thing.
And I think that chain of command concept is really important. It's important in a couple ways, one of which is I've had some plans, people come in and they only have one person as a named backup person. And you really need to have some backup people in your planning because somebody may well be willing to do something today, and when the time comes, their circumstances don't allow them to do that. So having some depth in the plan, we usually want to have at least 3 names of if they're not here, who's next, who's next.
Mm-hmm. If we can add some generational depth to that plan, great, but if you have 3, you almost never get to the third person, but you do have confidence. Even if people die sort of in the wrong order or something unexpected happens, your plan is still a solid plan.
Well, and I've had people who might have 2 children and they name the 2 children, and I'll say, name a third person. They'll go, why do I need that? And I've had situations where one of the kids does die, and then I'm sitting down with the parents shortly after they've died, and we're now trying to put that name in, and it's just a terrible time to do that, and we didn't have to do that. We could have done it before.